What's up, guys? Welcome back to FTD. Fish Tank Dave here, and today we are going to be making brackish water. Now, from what I've seen online and on YouTube, no one explains this correctly. There's no video out there that I've found that's like, oh, this is how you make brackish water. You end up having to research and kind of do your own thing and find out what you're going for. So, currently right now, I was sold freshwater green puffers. At the end of the video, I will explain the full story of how I ended up with these fish. Because obviously I didn't want to all of a sudden have to learn how to make brackish water out of nowhere. But step one in this process. As you can see right now, this is the green spotted puffer tank. And you can see that the water level is just under, right? Just under where it needs to be. Now, before I do a water change, I need to add more water back in and get it to the level where I want it, and then take out water. And the reason I'm doing that is because when you're topping off brackish water or marine water, my aquarium buddy Jason, shout out to you, he like clued me in on this, like, hey, when you do top offs, don't add more salt or anything, because the salinity level will be the same throughout the whole tank. And the salt doesn't leave with evaporation, so when the water evaporates, like it has just barely, you want to make sure you fill that water back up, then take it out. When you add water back in, like when you're doing a water change, then you actually have to add the salt and all that stuff, and yeah. So, these puffers are actually amazing. I fell head over heels in love with them when I saw them. These guys are... what's funny is, every other tank that I have, everything is peaceful. And these guys are like worse than piranhas. I mean, these guys have beaks. They can take chunks out of things. They're little monsters. But I love them. So, anyway, let's top off the water first so we know what salt level we're dealing with at the beginning. Alright, guys, we got our water. It's about 3 gallons, probably way more than we need. Gonna add our dechlorinator to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's more than enough. So we're going to just pour this into the tank and top it off. So we have topped off the water now. We don't need to get rid of the water. We can actually use that to make salt water with. So all we did was get out the water to the right temperature, top it off with just fresh water, no marine salt, nothing. So we can use another bucket, siphon the water out, all that fun stuff, and then we can use that same water to make marine water. Okay, so before we do anything, you can see on the hydrometer that we're at 1.004. This is because I did a 50% water change last week and replaced the water with brackish water range salinity of 1.014. And that is what we're going to do today. We're going to remove about 25% and put the water back at that higher salt content. Of course, these little dudes are all kinds of curious about this. They were trying to bite it, all kinds of stuff. Just cleaning up the substrate while we take out 5 gallons or so. They're very curious and extremely smart, these guys. 10 gallons out of there, going to be putting back, obviously 10 gallons back, but with the full brackish level, and then we'll test everything after and make sure it's good. Okay, we got both the 5 gallons ready. We just need to add the aquarium salt, which 1 cup of instant ocean in a 5-gallon bucket is about equal to 1.014 salinity, which is what we're trying to go for. So that's how we know. We got 1 cup scoop right here. We're going to use that to put the instant ocean in. So you can see here, 1 cup. There's 1 cup of instant ocean. Full cup. Right about there. And we are going to toss that in like that. I'm just going to go like that. And then we got to mix right away. And if it all works correctly, this should end up being 1.14 salinity, but we'll test that after about 15 minutes. Okay, so we're almost there. We've mixed up everything. I've spilled water everywhere, as you do when you make salt water. You have to spill water everywhere while you're mixing it. That's one of the things you gotta do. I got a towel here I'm trying to clean up. But it takes about 15 minutes plus for it to actually fully dissolve in there. And I've been testing it right now, and we're in between 1.012 salinity and 1.014, which we were shooting for 1.014. So you can see here, right here, I just tested things. It is almost there, which means it almost has fully dissolved. I keep mixing it and waiting, mixing it and waiting. So we're almost there. All right, it's close to where I want it to be, so I'm actually pumping it in now. This is in between 1.12 or 1.012, 1.014. Putting that in, they went from basically 0 to 1.004, which is right outside the bounds of brackish. This, when we're fully done, should push them into brackish range 100%. So stay tuned. We're going to fill it all the way up. All right, water has been changed. I'm going to let this run for a little bit, and then we're going to test the salinity. And the puffers are acting like fine. They're acting normal. You know, they're playing around, chasing each other as they do. I'm not seeing any issues with them breathing or anything like that. Keep in mind, like I said, they went from 1.004, which is right outside the range of brackish. I want to put them into the higher level of brackish because by the time they are adults, they'll basically need to be marine fish. So it's really a shame. I'm going to do another video about a species spotlight on this fish, just because they are, you know, they are sold as freshwater fish, but have a significantly lower lifespan if they are kept in freshwater. Meaning you're talking 2 to 3 years compared to 10 years. So it really does diminish their life. Okay, so we are at, I'm going to test it one more time to be sure, but we're at 1.008. That's after 2 water changes. So we are officially into brackish water. Anything past 1.005 is considered good. Alright guys, it's been about 20 minutes, and we checked the entire salinity of the tank, and we are hitting 1.0110. So we've officially hit brackish water. We have done it. I've only had these guys a week, so they went from first water change when I first got them, did the exact same thing I did today, and it got them to 1.004, and then another water change, now they're at 1.010. So one more water change should do it, and they should be where I want them to be, which is at 1.014. Obviously these are still juveniles, but it's easier to measure. I could probably aim for 1.010, but because they'd like to be within that range as juveniles, but I think I want to push them on a little bit of the higher side. So not seeing them act weird or anything like that. They're getting used to, I mean, they don't seem to be, this is normal behavior for them, basically. So they're acting fine. So things left to do is, which I'm not going to do in this video, I'm going to be upgrading the actual filtration. Right now, mainly it's hang on the back and some sponge filters, which that was fine for when I had this freshwater. You could still use a hang on the back for brackish water tanks, of course, but I'm going to actually change this to a canister filter that is good and rated up to 75 gallons. That way, even if I get a bigger tank in the future, it can handle that. So my goal is to actually get a 75-gallon tank for these guys to kind of grow up in, but we're going to have to wait for that. So within a couple months, I should have a 75-gallon, and it'll be a brackish tank, but obviously we will be pushing closer and closer to marine levels by the time these guys get bigger. Also, the buckets and everything, I think I'm going to use the advice I saw online where people took and actually grabbed trash cans, like plastic trash cans, and mixed up a bunch beforehand. And if you put a lid over it, you can actually store salt water, and I could use a pump to pump the water in. So I could actually make, like, let's say 3 weeks worth of salt water, and just use that to actually, change the water with. And that way it'd be a lot easier on me. Normally, when I'm doing the 5-gallon buckets, you could put a pump in there or a power head to mix it and make it easier on yourself. but with how much I fill those 5-gallon buckets, it doesn't really leave a lot of room to have a lot of current or mixing power. So it's probably going to be better that I actually get a container that's probably 20 gallons plus, and mix up like 3 weeks worth of salt, or even 2 weeks worth of salt at a time. That way I know exactly how much to put in there, all of that stuff. I will probably have to get a heater, and the day before the water change, put the heater inside, turn it on, wait a full 24 hours with the heater in there so it gets to the right temperature, and then pump the water in. But it will make my life a lot easier. So I'm actually happy with the way things are going. This is my first brackish tank of any kind. Very intimidating at first, but I realized, I brought these guys home. I didn't want to bring them back to the pet store and put them back in fresh water. And I mean, they had 30 of these puffers in a 30-gallon tank. And it's just funny that I wasn't gonna bring them back to the pet store so they could actually get abused. I already fell in love with them. By the time I brought them home, it was over. I was like in love. So my favorite puffer so far is actually this one right here. I think she's a girl. I think it's a girl. I'm just calling her a girl. I don't know why. Still need to come up with names for all these guys, but she was the first one to kind of like eat out of tweezers and accept food readily from me, and the other ones kind of follow suit after they see her eat something. So she was the first one to kind of warm up to me, so I have an attachment towards her. So yeah, no, they're all doing fine. They're still hungry. These guys are little monsters. Every other day I'll feed them a clam on the half shell, and today was eating day, and they ate good. So tomorrow I might feed them bloodworms or something, frozen bloodworms. They actually accept freeze-dried krill real easily as well. Anything meat-based, they go after. They definitely go after. So I love these guys. And, if I see any behavior where they're actually like biting each other or injuring each other, they tend to follow each other a lot. But a lot of it's like, just playful jousting. I see a couple nipping here and there, but they haven't hurt each other or even nipped each other's fins yet. It's a lot of fake jousting, a lot of, it's just in their nature. This is just what they do. So I wasn't going to bring them back to the pet store. I fell in love. I was going to learn how to do brackish water. And, it's just funny. Never thought I would be doing brackish water, but, that's okay. 75 gallon, probably get them up to marine levels. They could actually live with, other fish. You could do saltwater mollies. Once they hit adulthood, you could actually put them in a full saltwater tank. So you could actually put them with, like, other marine fish by the time they get to adulthood. So, they seem to be doing really, really well here. Like I said, you can see them chasing each other. It's a lot of just jousting. I don't see them actually hurting each other. If I do notice that they are hurting each other, like for real, I will definitely, rehome one or two or whatever I need to do to make sure they're safe. So, this seems to be working out. There's 3 in a 30-gallon. Within 2 to 3 months, I'm going to get a 75-gallon and put them in there, and that should be their home until they hit adulthood. Once we hit marine levels, we might be able to put some actual saltwater fish in with them. But, like I said, canister filter is going to be the main thing on there. I'm not going to go for any reef, living rock, coral type stuff. It's going to be just fish. Maybe dry rock, but yeah, I'm not fooling around with the corals and all that other stuff. Live rock and all that. So, just going to be just fish. Also, guys, I did not use any RO water, RODI water. This is just my tap water. I have never had issues with my tap water before in the past, so I kind of trust it. I know that some people may look at that and go, wow, but I'm just showing you the steps of what you need to do to make brackish water. Only step that's different is if you're going to use RO water, you actually go get the RO water from a pet store, or you would use your reverse osmosis machine at your house and use that to fill up the buckets. All the other steps are exactly the same as what I did. So, that is going to do it for the video, guys. Going to do a species spotlight on green puffers in general, show some feedings, show how awesome they are, and go from there. So, that is going to do it for the video, guys. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.